everyone, welcome to our channel Knowledge of Friends. Subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon for the latest update. आज हम कंप्यूटर नेटवर्क की क्लास करने वाले हैं, जो कि कंप्यूटर नेटवर्क की क्लास आपकी सेकेंड क्लास है। ऑलरेडी हम फर्स्ट क्लास कर चुके हैं, जिसमें हमने OSI रेफरेंस मॉडल डिस्कस कर लिया है। जो स्टार्ट किया है हमने यूनिट 1 स्टार्ट किया, इंट्रोडक्शन कॉन्सेप्ट है। इंट्रोडक्शन कॉन्सेप्ट में हम OSI रेफरेंस मॉडल डिज़ाइन इशूज़ फॉर द लेयर्ड आर्किटेक्चर्स ऑफ डेटा कम्युनिकेशन that we had done in the last class, that is of your first class. Now we'll discuss about the second class, that we have to discuss the first topic, that is your TCP IP reference model. So here, first of all, it's a huge request from my side, please go through with the subscribe button and please like, share and subscribe our channel, so that many and maximum people can get the information at once, and even though you can also enjoy the video as well. And it's a huge request. And from as I told you about it, that what we had cover up is your many more subject that we had cover up, and the last subject we had cover up is your web technology, and presently we are doing computer network, AI, and of course the reasoning. So you can go through with that all this with the playlist. And I'll start with the TCP IP reference model. What they can ask you in the reference to the TCP IP reference model here, they can ask you that discuss the TCP IP protocol suite on the basis of the protocol layering principle, that of 5 marks. Otherwise they can ask you describe the TCP IP protocol suite in brief, or list the layers of the internet model, that they can ask you of 5 marks. So that we'll discuss in the detail here. So here we'll go ahead with the TCP IP reference model here. In the case that TCP IP stands for the transmission control protocol, internet protocol, that I will be writing you. If you don't know, you can just go through with that. The TCP stands for transmission control protocol slash, that is IP stands for internet protocol. So this is all, that is the transmission control protocol and internet protocol here, and that in the reference towards it, if I'm talking about in the detail, to TCP IP stands for transmission control protocol, internet protocol, and the TCP IP reference model is a set of protocol that allows the communication across the multiple diverse network. And the TCP IP is normally considered to be a 4-layer system. Layer of TCP are application layer and transport layer, internet layer, and a host to network layer. That is an architecture I will be drawing here, that you can also go through with that as well. This is the first layer is your application layer, the second layer is your transport layer, and the third layer is your internet layer, and the fourth layer is to host to network layer. This is architecture of TCP IP reference model. So the first layer we have is your application layer. We'll discuss this in the detail as well. Application layer. The second layer we have is your transport layer. The third layer we have is your internet layer, and the fourth layer we have is your host to network layer. So here these were the TCP IP references model, and in this we'll discuss more in the detail. That is the first, starting with the application layer. In the application layer includes all the processes and services that uses the transport layer to deliver the data, and the most widely known application protocol is your telnet, FTP, SMTP, and of course your SNMP. These were the application layer, that the protocol they are using, application protocol, that is your telnet, FTP, SMTP, and SNMP. Now talking about the transport layer, the second layer here. In this, that the application program sends data to the transport layer protocol, that is your TCP and UDP. And with regard of it, the transport layer provides the pure entities on the source and the destination host to carry on a conversation of both ends. Protocol is defined in this layer. Now talking about the third layer, that is your internet layer here. The internet network level protocol is your IP, ARP, and your ICMP. These handles the machine to the machine communication, and these protocol provide for the transmission and receptions of the transport requests and handle the network level control as well. Talking about the host to network layer, that is the last layer here, and the fourth layer, the host to network layer, that this layer is also called a network interface layer. This layer is as same as the physical and a data link layer on in the OSI model that we had discussed before in the last class. And host to network layer cannot define any protocol, and it is responsible for accepting and transmitting the IP datagrams as well. An internet employing TCP IP protocol uses the four levels of addresses here. In the regard of it here, this regard of it, that internet employing TCP IP protocol uses the four level of addressing. The first is your physical, that is your link address used by the physical and a data link layer. The logical IP address used for the internet layer, and the port address used for the transport layer, and the specific address used for the application layer. So for this, this is the physical layer that is used for it, and then after that for the logical IP addresses used for the internet layer. For the transport layer, that is the port address is used for the transport layer, and for the application layer, the specific address used for the application layer here. So this is all what we have to talk about TCP IP protocols here. Now we'll discuss moreover related to the compare OSI and TCP IP network reference model, because दोनों ही reference model है, TCP IP reference model, और last class में हमने जो discuss किया था OSI 7 layer वाला reference model, तो that is also the layer, and दोनों के बीच में differences, so of course that is very important, and it has been asked in many of the time in the question paper, so we'll discuss there, and that is you have to compare OSI and TCP IP reference model. Okay, so that what we have to compare about it, and the comparison of the OSI and the TCP IP protocol suits here. The first difference is that OSI is a 7 layer, having a 7 layer, and TCP IP, as you can see, it has a 4 layer only. For the OSI, that model was first defined before implementation take place, and for the TCP, model defined after the protocol were implemented. For the third comparison is your OSI model based on three concepts, that is your service, interface, and protocol. And for the TCP/IP, the TCP/IP model did not originally, clearly distinguish between the services, interface, and the protocol as well. And for the here, that is the fourth comparison is your for the OSI is that OSI model gives the guarantee of the reliable delivery of the packets, and for the TCP/IP, that the transport layer does not always guarantee the reliable delivery of the packet here. And for the OSI, the fifth comparison we have is your, that is the OSI does not support internet working, and for the TCP/IP here, the TCP/IP supports internet working. And the next sixth difference we have is that in the OSI reference model, the strict layering here, and of course for the TCP/IP, the loosely layering here, and layered here. And then for the seventh differences and the last differences for the OSI here, that supports the connectionless and the connection oriented communication in the network layer, and for the TCP/IP, that supports only the connection oriented communication in the transport layer here. So these were the 7 differences between the 7 comparison between the OSI reference model and the TCP/IP reference model here. Now we'll discuss about the network topology designs, and in the reference towards it, that we'll discuss here as well. So the point is that network topology design. So in the network topology design here, and in the terms of it, what they can ask you is, they had asked you many times in the question paper as well of 5 marks. So what are the numbers of the cables links required for a device connected in mesh, ring, bus, and star topologies? So we'll discuss more in detail as well. And now we'll talk about the first topology, that is your mesh topology. Mesh topology. In the mesh topology here, every router or a switch is connected to every other router or switch The number of the links in the mesh topology is n minus 1 slash 2. This is how the number of links in a mesh topology is, and here n is the number of the routers or the switches here. Okay, and you can find it out as well. The next topology we will discuss about is your ring topology. In the ring topology, that the network consists of a set of the repeaters joined by the point-to-point links in a closed loop. Each computer is connected to the next computer, with the last one connected to the first, and of course the number of the cables links required for n devices connected is here and here. So for that I will be going to show you a sort of diagram that here you can understand what is mesh topology and ring topology. Then after that we'll discuss about the bus and the star topology as well. For the mesh topology here, that we have a system like they are connected it 1 2 3 and the 4 as well. Okay, with having a CPU as well. This is a system. So this is connected to one on another first, then this is connected to one on another as well. Uske baad it is connected to this is connected to this, and then after that this is connected to this, and this is connected to this as well. So this is a sort of a mesh topology that we can see that. So this is a mesh topology. Okay, every network is connected to one another. That is known as mesh topology. Now we'll discuss about that we had discussed about the ring topology here. So in the ring topology, what it is, this is a server connected to node. This node is connected to another node, this node connected to another node, this node connected to another node, and then this another node is connected to the another server as well. So this is known as a ring topology. Okay, this is what it is, stands for, ring topology. Now we'll discuss the another one, and that is your bus topology here. And in the bus topology, as you can see here in the difference towards the bus topology here, in the bus topology what it stands for is that in a bus topology the multiple devices are connected one by one by means of the connectors or a drop cables, and full duplex operation between the stations, and the tap allows data to be transmitted onto the bus and received from the bus. The number of the cables links required for a device's connection is one backbone and drops line as well. As you can see here in the reference towards it, if I'm talking about the bus topology here, with this, these were the your terminators, and then this was these all that what we have is the stations. We have here also as well. And as well as these lines that we have here is, these were the lines that are connected to it. These were known as your shared media. Okay, so this is sort of a which having a terminators, and this is the stations, and these were the shared media. So this is known as bus topology. Now we'll discuss the another one, and the last one that what we have to discuss is your star topology here. That is your star topology. in the reference towards the star topology, if I'm talking about here, that each station is directly connected to a common central node, and the number of the cables lengths required for the n devices connection, that is your n. And for the star one, we have a figure that is, this is your hub, and this hubs is connected to a systems. These hub is connected to another systems, yeah, and that is called as star topology. Now we'll discuss moreover regarding this, and that is the defined topology, and explain the advantages and disadvantages of bus, star and ring topologies. So that what we will discuss here, and in the reference towards it, that has also been asked and in the form of your in the case of, as I told you about, that is of 5 marks. So you have to do it that we have to discuss the ring, bus and ring and star topologies, and advantages and as well as disadvantages. You can make it like that, as like if you're making notes, because this is a theory subject, I think you have to make, but it's totally depend upon you. But if you're making a note, that good for you, because you can revise it out after that when you have your exam. And so here these were the topologies. So here we'll discuss one by one each and every topology as advantages and disadvantages. So the first topology that what we'll discuss is your bus topology. In the bus topology, the advantages, we have 4 advantages as well as the 4 disadvantages. You can write it down as well. In the case of the bus topology, the advantages, the first advantages we have is that easy to use and easy to install as well. The second advantages we have is that need a fewer physical connectivity devices. And the third is that a repeater can also be used to extend a bus topology network. And the fourth advantages and the last advantages of the bus topology we have is here, that is low cost. Now talking about the disadvantages of bus topology here. The first disadvantage is that heavy network traffic can slow a bus considerably. The second disadvantage is it is difficult to troubleshoot a bus. The third disadvantages we have is that failure of cable affects all devices on the network. The fourth disadvantages we have on the bus technology is your difficult to add new node. You can write it down. The another one we have is your star topology. The star topology we have, and the advantages we have is that is it is easy to modify and new nodes. The second advantages of star topology we have is that is troubleshooting technique are easy. The third advantages of star topology we have is that failure of any node do not bring down the whole star network. And now talking about the disadvantages of that is star topology, that is the first disadvantages is if the central hub fails, the whole network fails to operate. The second disadvantages is each device requires its own cable segment. The third disadvantages of star topology we have is that the installation can be moderately difficult, especially in the hierarchical network. Now talking about the another one, that is we have is ring topology. We have an advantages and as well as disadvantages as well. In the regard of it, ring topology, that we have 2 advantages and 3 disadvantages. The ring topology, the advantages we have is the first is that the cable failure are easily found. The second advantages of ring topology is that because every node is given equal access to the token, and no node can monopolize the network as well. The 3 disadvantages we have is the first disadvantages is adding or removing the nodes disrupt the network. The second disadvantages we have is that it is difficult to troubleshoot a ring network. The third disadvantages we have of the ring topology is that is the failure of one node on the ring that can affect the whole network as well. So these were the 3 topologies, bus, star and ring, and that what we had discussed about the advantages and as well as the disadvantages of all. Now we'll discuss the another one, that is explain the brief the bus backbone and a star backbone. So a star backbone and a bus backbone, that what we have to discuss, and that has been asked, like explain briefly the bus backbone and a star backbone, that is of 5 marks. So first you have to know about the backbone here, and then we'll discuss about it, the bus backbone and of course the star backbone as well. So first you have to know about the backbone, and that is a backbone here, that is a backbone network allows several LANs to be connected, and most common architecture used for the backbone network is bus and a star here. And with regard of it, we'll talk about the bus backbone here, and that is your bus backbone. So in the bus backbone, that what we have to go through with. So here, as I told you about the backbone, that is, the backbone is a network that allows several LANs to be connected, and most common architecture used for the backbone network is bus and star. For the burst backbone, we'll go ahead here that the topology of the backbone is a bus, and that bus backbone we will be discussing here with the diagram as well. It is normally used as a distribution backbone to connect the different buildings in an organization. And examples of the bus backbone network is one that connects a single or multiple floor building on a campus. For that, it's a sort of like this is LAN 1 that connects to a bridge. This is bridge, and that is connected to the another bridge, and that is connected to the LAN 2. And this there is same for the another one, that is LAN 1 connected to the LAN 2. We have a LAN here, that is your LAN 3 that is connected to a bridge, and that is connected to the another bridge as well. That is bridge, and that is also connected to the LAN 4. So this is a bus backbone network. This is a bus backbone network. Now we'll discuss moreover about the star backbone. In the term of the star backbone here, the topology of the backbone is a star that we'll discuss here. Like first we'll draw a diagram here. This is backbone, where there are multiple switch, these were the switch, and these switches were connected to LANs, LAN 1, LAN 2, then we have LAN 3, Then we have here that will be your LAN 4. Then we have LAN 5. We have LAN 6. There are multiple LAN that are connected here, one on another. This is a switch and this is a backbone, and these were the LAN that are connected to one another. This is known as a star backbone network. Okay, in the talking about the star backbone network here, as I told you about it, that mostly used as a distribution backbone inside a building, and the backbone network, which is just a switch that can be installed in the basement or the first floor, and we often find a rack in the basement where the backbone switch of all hubs or switches are installed. Now we will discuss more over here. So here we'll go ahead that they can ask you explain the design of hierarchical and a flat network topology. So that we'll discuss here. That is the first we'll discuss about the hierarchical topology, and then of course we'll discuss about the flat network topology as well. So in the term, first we'll discuss about the hierarchical topology, and before that we'll discuss some of the things related to the topology here. That is, in that case, a topology is a map of an internet work that indicates the network segment, interconnections points, and the user communities. And although the geographical sites that can appear on the map, the purpose of the map is to show the geometry of the network and not the physical geography or the technical implementation. And the designing a network topology is the first step in the logical design phase of the top-down network design methodology, and to meet the goals of the scalability and the adaptability. It is important to architect logical topology before selecting the physical product or the technologies. During the topology design phase, you identify the network and the interconnection point, that the size and the scope of the network, and the types of the internet or working devices that will be required, but not the actual device. Now we'll go ahead with the related to the hierarchical topology here. For the typical hierarchical topology is like a core layer of the high-end router and the switch that are optimized for the availability and performances. The second is that you can say that the distribution layer of the routers and the switches that implement the policies. And the third is an access layer that connects a user via a lower end switch and a wireless access point as well. Now we'll discuss about the flat network topology here, and a flat network topology is adequate for a very small network, and with a flat network design there is no hierarchy. Each internet working device has essentially the same job, and the network is not to be divided into the layers or the modules as well. In the flat network topology is easy to design and implement, and it is easy to maintain as long as the network stays small. And when the network grows, however, a flat network is undesirable, and the lack of the hierarchy that makes troubleshooting difficult, rather than being able to concentrate troubleshooting efforts in just one area of the network, and you may need to inspect the entire network as well. Now we'll discuss the sort of numerical that has been asked of 10 marks, and which is very important of course, and that what we have to discuss here. But that the numerical we have is your, like, what is the total delay latency for a frame size of 10 million bits that is being set up to link of 15 routers, and each having a queuing time of 20, and yes, 2, and processing time is 1. And then of course the length of the link is 3000 kilometer, and the speed of the light inside the link is 2 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, and the link has bandwidth of 6 mbps here. That has been asked in the 10 marks question paper. And so yes, we'll find it out then we'll after that discuss about the physical layer transmission medium as well. we'll go ahead with this, and that what we have is your what is the total delay. Total delay, that is your latency. For a frame size 10 million bits, that is being set up on a link with 15 routers, each having queuing time. Part of it by queuing, and that is time is of 2, and processing time of 1. The length of link is 3000 kilometer. The speed of light inside the link is 2 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. The link has bandwidth of 6 Mbps. So this has been asked of 10 marks question paper. So now we'll solve it out, and that the solution we have is, now we'll find it out, that is latency equals to processing time plus queuing time plus transmission time plus propagation time. Now we'll find it out, the processing time here, that is your processing time equals to 15 into 1 second equals to 0.15 second, that is equals to 0.000015 second. Now for finding out the queuing time, time equals to 15 into 2 second equals to 30 second here, that is equals to 0.000030 second. Now we'll find out the transmission time. That is equals to upon 6 Mbps, and which is equals to 1.66 second here. Now I'll talk about the propagation time as well. That is your propagation time equals to 3000 kilometer upon 2 into 10 to the power 8, and that is equals to, that is 0.000015. Now find out the latency. About the latency, that is equals to 0.000015 plus 0.00030 plus 1.66 plus 0.00015 here. So now finding out the latency, and we'll add up all, and we will get the answer, that is your 1.660060 second here. The transmission time is dominant here, and because of the packet size is huge, the processing time and the queuing time are negligible here. Okay, in the reference towards it, what we had discussed about it. And now we'll talk about the physical layer transmission media. Physical layer transmission media. For this, they can ask you to discuss the different physical layer transmission media of 5 marks, where you have to know about the media first, then we'll discuss the transmission media and about that in a detail as well. The media is a general term used to describe the data path that forms a physical channel between the sender and the receiver. The transmission medium is a physical path between the transmitter and a receiver in a data transmission system. In transmission media, communication is in the form of the electromagnetic wave, and the transmission medium that can be twisted pair wire such as that used for the telephone installation, and wire media that are referred to as a bounded media, and the wireless media are sometimes referred to as an unbounded media as well. Different types of transmission medium is used for the different data transfer rate and long distances, bandwidth, noise, radiations, and attenuations that are considered while using the different transmission medium as well. For the transmission media, the transmission media can be with the regard of the physical layer, that the transmission medium that can be the first we have your that is your simplex. For the simplex here, that the medium we have the transmission in the one direction only. The second we have is your half duplex. For the half duplex, the transmission in the both direction but not at the same time. And the third one we have here is your that is your full duplex. Full duplex, that's simultaneously transmission in the both direction as well. Now talk about the transmission medium that can be mainly classified into with two types, and that the two types we have. The first we have your bounded, that is your bounded, or we can say that guided media. In the bounded and the guided media, which is of three types, and that is the bounded, that is depending on the types of the transmission medium that is used to bound media, that can be further classified into the three types. The first type is your twisted pair. Twisted pair cable, that in the twisted pair cable, the two insulated wires are twisted around each other and are combined with other into a cable, and most twisted pair cables are of type unshielded twisted pair, and that is they do not have a ground shield as well. The second one we have is your coaxial cable here. The second we have is your coaxial cable. In the coaxial cable, it is made up of two conductors that are share common axis, and it consists of the hollow outer cylindrical conductor that surrounds a single inner wire conductor, and coaxial cable is used to transmit both analog and a digital signal as well. The third type we have is your fiber optic cable. Fiber optic cable here, that is a fiber optic cable is a light pipe, and which is used to carry a light beam from one place to another, and light is an electromagnetic signal, and that can be modulated by information. Now for the bounded media is also called as a wired media as well. Talking about the second one, that is your unbounded. For the unbounded, or you can say that unguided media, unbounded or unguided media here, that is depending on the method of the transmission, the unbounded media that can be classified into the two types. The first type we have is your that is your microwave lengths or radio lengths. In the microwave links and the radio links, these radio waves have a frequency of that is your 10 kilohertz to and of course 1 gigahertz. Okay, and the radio waves that can be broadcast directionally or directionally as well. And in the case the second one we have here is the second is your that is infrared. In the case of the infrared here, that is unguided and in infrared infrared light that waves are widely used for the short range communication, the remote control using in TV and VCR and stereos, all are the infrared communication here. Now we'll discuss about the compared twisted pair, coaxial and a fiber optic. That has been asked of 5 marks, and we will discuss more than near about 3 to 4 differences between the comparison between all, and that is even though that is very important to us as well. And now we will be discussing that as well, that is to compare twisted pair, coaxial and fiber optic cable. For this we have a serial number and the coaxial, and then of course the twisted pair, and then for the fiber cable here these were you can just make as a differentiate between as well. For the coaxial, the first comparison is that the coaxial, it uses the electrical signal for transmission. The twisted pair cable that TP uses the electrical signal for the transmission, and the fiber optic cable that is FOC uses optical form of signals over a glass fiber. The second comparison between all three, that the coaxial cable less affected by EMI, twisted cable pair that is you're affected by EMI, and the fiber optic cable not affected by EMI. For the third one we have this that is not affected by AMI, that is a fiber optic cable. Now for the third differences, the coaxial cable is that bandwidth is moderately high, that is your 350 megahertz. Twisted pair cables, that is bandwidth is low, that is 3 megahertz. And fiber optic cable, that is bandwidth is very high, that is 2 gigahertz as well. Now talking about the coaxial cable, that is the fourth one, that the fourth comparison is for the coaxial cable that support moderately high data rates, that is 500 Mbps. And for the twisted pair cables that supports low data rates, that is 4 Mbps. The fiber optic cables that is your the data rates is very high, that is 2 giga of that is GB per second here. So these are all the four differences between the coaxial, twisted pair and a fiber optic cables as well. Now we'll discuss about it in the reference towards it. So here we'll discuss about explain the guided transmission medium, that is mention the characteristic and the distinguish optical from the twisted pair and the coaxial cables as well. That has been asked in the 5 marks question paper. So on that, depending on the type of the transmission media used for the bounded media, that can be further classified into 3, that is your twisted pair cables, coaxial and a fiber optic. That will just write it down for here. That is your guided transmission media. So this is divided into 3, that is the first is your twisted pair cable. For the twisted pair cable here, this twisted pair cable is in this that is the TP cable, you can say that. Twisted pair cable is least expensive and most widely used as well. And a typical pair, that is a TP, a twisted pair that consists of a insulated copper wire and arranged into a regular spiral pattern, and a wire pair that acts as a single communication link as well. The twisted pair may be used to transmit the both analog and a digital signal. For analog signals, amplifier are required about every 5 to 6 kilometer, and for the digital signal, that repeaters are required every 2 or 3 kilometer here. For the twisted pair here, that is most commonly used for the medium for the telephone network, and twisted pair cables comes into the two varieties. The first variety we have, and the second variety that we'll discuss as well, and that is the first variety we have is your unshielded. That is your unshielded twisted pairs. That is your UTP cables. Okay, and for that here the second part is your that is shielded twisted pair, that is STP cables. For the unshielded twisted pair cable, that is UTP, UTP is a set of the twisted pairs of the cable within a plastic sheet. UTP is ordinary telephone wire, and this is the least expensive of all the transmission medium that is commonly used for the LAN, and is easy to work with and simple to install as well. The UTP is a subject to external electromagnetic interfaces. That category 3 and a category 5 UTP are commonly used in the computer networks. So here the UTP can transfer the data at a 1 to 100 Mbps over a distance of 100 meter, and the difference between Cat 3 and a Cat 5 cable is number of the twist in the cable per unit distance. That Cat 5 is much more tightly twisted. Okay, and in the regard of it, the second one, that is the shielded twisted pair, that is STP cable here. That is the STP offers a protective shielding that is your around the copper wire, and the STP provides a better performance at the lower data rates, and they are not commonly used in the networks, and the distance is limited to 100 meters for 500 meters, and STP suffers from outside interference but not as much UTP. In the regard of it, if I'm talking about the second one we have is your that is for the guided transmission medium, that we have the second one as your coaxial cable. And in the coaxial cable here, that is it is made up of two conductors that shares the common axis, and it consists of the hollow outer cylindrical conductor that surrounds the single inner wire conductor. Coaxial cable is used to transmit the both analog and the digital signal data. Transfer rate of a coaxial cable is used to transmit both analog and the digital signals, and data transfer rate of the coaxial cable is in between twisted pair and a fiber optic cable here. And for that, the coaxial cable is classified by the size, that is RG, and by the cable resistance of the direct and alternative electric current that are following some axial cables, and coaxial cables that are commonly used in the networking as well. Now talking about the third one, that what we have is your fiber optic cable, that is FOC. And here that a fiber optic cable is a light pipe which is used to carry a light beam from one place to another, and the light is an electromagnetic signal, and that can be modulated by the information. Since the frequency of the light is extremely high, hence it can be accommodate a wide bandwidth of the information, and also the higher that is also a higher rate data rate that can be achieved with the excellent reliability as well. And in that case, the modulated light travels along with the fiber, and that the far end are converted to an electrical signals by means of the photo and means of a photoelectric cell, and that the original input signals is recovered at a far end as well. In that the FOC, that is fiber optical cable here, that transmits the light signal rather than the electrical signal, and each fiber has an inner core of the glass or a plastic that conducts light. The inner core is surrounded by the cladding and a layer of the glass that reflects the light back into the core as well. The cable maybe contain a single fiber, but often of fiber are bundled together in the center of the cable as well. In the regard of it, the FOC, that is a fiber optic cable, that may be a multi-mode or a single mode. Multi-mode fiber are use multiple light paths, and with regard of it, where the signals mode of fiber allows a single light path, and are typically used with laser signaling, and it is a more expensive and a greater bandwidth as well. Now we'll explain the unguided media in, because we had discussed about the guided media here, so now we'll discuss about unguided media in the detail. So for the unguided media, first we have to gone through with the unguided media here. Then we'll discuss because this is also of three types. That is a ground propagation, the sky propagation, and the line of sight propagation. So that we'll discuss here. And the wireless transmission has been divided into two. That is a radio wave, microwave, and infrared. So that we'll discuss here. So for that, for the unguided transmission media transports the electromagnetic wave in the various ways without using a physical conductor. Hence, this type of a communication is called a wireless communication. And the electromagnetic spectrum of the wireless communication that I can show you here. Where this is wireless communication. This is your radio wave and microwave. Okay, and for after that, this is from 3 किलोहर्ट्ज़ 3 किलोहर्ट्ज़ से लेके आपका 300 गीगाहर्ट्ज़ तक है आपका. And this is a wireless communication. Then we have infrared, that is 300 gigahertz से लेके that is your 400 THz तक. and that is then फिर ये आपका जो है वो ये आपका लाइट वेट है, लाइट वेव. this is your 900. and this is all these were the frequencies. Okay, this is an electromagnetic spectrum of the wireless communication. Of wireless communication. This is all. And for that, the unguided signals that can propagate through the several ways, such as like ground propagation, sky propagation, line of sight propagation, and a wireless transmission that can be divided into the three broad categories, that is the radio waves, microwaves, and infrared, that I can show you via flow diagram here, that is in the form of a pattern that what we are going to discuss. That is your wireless transmission that has been divided into three. The first is your radio wave. The second we have here is your, that is microwave. The third we have is your infrared. Here, this is the wireless transmission types. Now talking about each and every types here that we'll have to discuss. That the first is your radio waves. The radio waves have the frequency between 10 kilohertz and 1 gigahertz, that is. And the radio waves include the following types, like a short wave, very high frequency, that is the VHF, and television and FM radios. The third is your ultra high frequency, that is UHF, that is radio television. The range of the frequency and the types of the media that is used for the transfer in the, that you can show the like twisted pairs, unmanned type, and that of course the coaxial, and that satellite. For that case, we can say that from 10 to the power 4, that is the radio waves, to the 10 to the power 8, and then from 10 to the power 8 से लेके 10 to the power 12 तक माइक्रोवेव्स है आपके. एंड देन फिर 10 to the power 12 से लेके 10 to the power 14 तक आपका इंफ्रारेड है. फिर उसके बाद विजिबल लाइट स्पेक्ट्रम है. फिर आपका 10 to the power 18 तक यूवी है. एंड देन फिर आपका 10 to the power 16 से लेके 10 to the power 22 तक आपका एक्स रेज है. 10 to the power 22 से लेके उसके आगे जो है वो गामा रेज है आपके. विद द विजिबिलिटी स्पेक्ट्रम की बात करती हूँ फ्रीक्वेंसी बैंडविड्थ की, तो 10 to the power 4 से लेके 10 to the power 6 तक के आपके ट्विस्टेड पेयर यूज़ किए जाते हैं. 10 to the power 5 से लेके 10 to the power 9 तक अप्रॉक्सीमेटली कोएक्सियल आपके यूज़ किए जाते हैं एंड पेयर यूज़ किए जाते हैं. एंड ऑफ कोर्स AM रेडियोज़ हैं आपके, मैरिटाइम है, FM रेडियोज़ हैं, उनकी फ्रीक्वेंसी जो होती है वो आपकी 10 to the power 9 से लेके अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 10 to the power 10 तक ही होता है, जो कि UHF और SHF यूज़ किया जाता है. एंड सैटेलाइट के लिए 10⁻⁹ से लेकर 10⁻11 तक के सैटेलाइट यूज़ किए जाते हैं. टेरेस्ट्रियल माइक्रोवेव्स यूज़ किए जाते हैं. फाइबर ऑप्टिक्स की बात करती हूँ, 10⁻14 से लेकर 10⁻15 तक के आपके फाइबर ऑप्टिक्स यूज़ किए जाते हैं. दीज आर द रेडियो फ्रिक्वेंसीज इन द ट्रांसमिशन मीडिया दैट व्हाट वी हैड डिस्कस्ड हियर. And other than that, the radio waves can be broadcast omnidirectional or the directionally, and various kinds of the antennas that can be used for the broadcast radio signal. And the power of the radio frequency, that is RF signals, is determined by the antenna and the receiver, and a device of the that emits and that receives a signal over the media such as a copper radio waves and a fiber optic cable as well. In the regard of it, now we'll discuss about the microwaves transmission. Here that will help to discuss in the microwave transmission above the 100 microhertz, that is the waves travels in the straight line, and can be therefore by the narrowly focused as well, and that concentrating all the energies into the small beams using a parabolic antenna like the satellite TV dish, and that gives a much higher signals to the noise ratios, and of course but the transmitting and the receiving antennas must be accurately aligned with each other. And before the advent of the fiber optics, these microwaves formed the heart of the long distance telephone transmission system. And in its simplest form of the microwave link, that can be one hop consisting of the one pair of the antennas spaced as a little as 1 or 2 kilometers apart, or that can be a backbone including the multiple hops spanning several thousand kilometers. A single hop is typically 30 to 60 kilometers in a relatively flat region for the frequency in the 2 to 8 gigahertz and band. And then when antennas are replaced between the mountains and peaks, a very long hop length that can be achieved, and a hop distance in axis of 200 kilometers that are in existence. And the line of the sight, that nature of the microwave has some very attractive advantages over the cable system, and line of sight is a term which is only the partially correct when describing the microwave path as well. In the case of the microwave, where I can show you the transmitting station to the receiving station, that's like a form of microwave communication here, and that what we have to do as well. That is, this is an sort of an antenna. This is transmission station, and this is okay, and here is also an antenna. This is a sort of like antenna, and this is your receiving station. Okay, this is line of sight. And other than that, this is receiving antenna, and this is transmitting antenna. The signal has been transmitted. So this is a sort of a microwave communication here. In the regard of it, atmospheric condition and a certain effects modify the propagation of the microwave, and so that even if the designer that can see from a point A to point B, that is a true line of the sight, it may not be possible to place the antennas at those 2 points and achieve the satisfactory communication performances. In order to overcome the problem of the line of sight and power amplification of the weak signals, microwave systems use repeaters at the intervals of about 25 to 30 kilometers in between the transmitting the receiving stations, where the first repeater is placed in sight of line of sight of the transmitting station, and the last repeater are also placed in the line of sight of each other, and the data signals are received, amplified and retransmitted by each of these stations. Other than that, the objective of the microwave communication system is to transmit the information from one place to another and without interruption and clear reproduction at a receiver, the receiver, and indicates how this is achieved in the simplest form. So now here that what we had discussed about it, and I will discuss about a sort of a numerical here that it should be mandatory to do, and after that we'll discuss moreover related to the theories as well. There are many things, as I told you. There are this is a type of typic that is your a theory subject, so that you have to be well prepared with that as well. So now we're going to discuss in the reference towards it sort of a numerical here. So that numerical we will discuss in the next coming class. आज के लिए इतना ही करते हैं. तो first of all, it's a huge request from my side. Please go through with the subscribe button and please like, share and subscribe our channel so that many and maximum people can get the information at once, and even though you can also enjoy the video as well. That is your computer network class and introduction concept. That is your first class that we are doing. We had done, and this is the second class, so you can go through with that as well. For the unit 1, as I told you, the code of the computer network, that is NCS 601, and the introduction concept that we had started last class, and that is your goals and application of networks, structures and architecture, OSI reference model, that we had done in the last classes, and the services, network topology design, delay analysis, backbone design, and a local access network design, a physical layer transmission media, that we had done. Switching method, ISDN, and terminal handling, that will done in the we will do that in the next third class, and we will be ending up with unit 1 in the next coming class as well. And for the unit 2, we have to discuss about the medium access sublayer, that is we'll have to discuss about the medium access sublayer, channel allocation, LAN protocol, that is Aloha protocol, overview of IEEE standard like FDDI, and the data link layer, that is elementary data linked protocols, sliding window protocols, and error handling, that what we have to do. And in the next third unit, we have to discuss network layer, that is your network layer, point to point network routing, congestions, that is your control internetworking, TCP IP, IP packets, and IP address, IPv6 as well. The unit 4, that is the transport layer, that is the transport layer, design issues, connections management, sessions layer, design issues, remote procedure call, presentation layer, design issues, data compression techniques, cryptography, and TCP window management, that what we have to discuss in the unit 4. In the unit 5, this is the application layer, that is application layer, file transfer, access and management, electronic mail, virtual terminals, and other application examples, network, and that is your internet and a public network, that we have to discuss in the next coming classes. And it's a huge request from my side to please go through with the subscribe button and please like, share and subscribe our channel so that many and maximum people can get the information at once, and even though you can also enjoy the video. And we had completed many of the subject as well. You can go through with the playlist, you will find out each and every subject that we had done, and with their playlist as well. And today we had we are doing the reasoning classes. This is we have to cover up verbal reasoning, and now we'll start with non-verbal reasoning, that is we had cover up we have start with series as well. And after that, other than that, we had doing the computer network, and we are going to start artificial intelligence as well, and where we had completed the operating system and many more many more important subject that we had done. You can go through with that. Web technology we had done, and where we had going to do is your that is your operating system, and we had done many more important subject related to the engineering, and of course your competition wise as well. You can go through with that. You will find it out the playlist of each and every subject, and you will be gone through with that as well. So thank you, hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and give a suggestion on the comment box. Please like, share and subscribe our channel. Thank you.